Hello everyone, welcome to Astro in Focus. Thank you for stopping by my channel today. Today is a very exciting day. I'm setting up my new camera and filter wheel. I would like to take a moment to thank all of my subscribers. It has really helped motivate me to continue to make these videos and share my journey with you. Thank you to the 246 subscribers at the time that I recorded this video, and if you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It really does help my channel grow. That way I can share my journey with others. With that said, let's get started and get this camera and filter wheel all set up. Well, here it is. I have removed the front plate off the filter wheel. This is the ZWO 7-position 36mm filter wheel, and I'll be installing the Antlia 3nm filters in it. Now I must say, I'm very excited to get this all set up, but also very nervous. Not wanting to damage the delicate coating, the fear of the ever-present dust, or dropping a screw on the filter and scratching it. These are all the fears, plus more, that are going through my head as I'm getting this all set up. Not to mention, there's trying to figure out the correct orientation of the filters, but we'll talk about that later, and how to check to see, with these filters, what the correct orientation is. I've been thinking about trying out a mono camera and filter wheel for a year or two now. Once I built the observatory, I really started to do some research and make the decision if I wanted to switch from my one-shot color camera to a mono setup. Since I built the observatory, I struggled with natural light pollution. Yes, of course, I'm talking about the moon. Many nights over the course of the last year, I have noticed that the moon has the ability to melt away clouds, clearing the skies. Of course, I'm joking. The moon can't do that. But the best nights for imaging are already far and few in between, and with the full moon lighting up the night sky, this was definitely a big factor in my decision. Even with the moon up in this night sky, I can now capture some data, S2 and hydrogen alpha, and not completely waste an evening out. I must say, Antlia packages these filters very nicely. I would definitely recommend wearing gloves to keep any oils off the filters. As you can see, slightly off frame here, I'm struggling to remove the filter from its paper sleeves. The filters are double sleeved, and I did my best to only touch the filters on the edges, and still not destroy those sleeves in case I ever need to put them back in it. Now you can see here, I was slightly reassured about one of my fears of dropping a screw onto one of the filters. This is the screwdriver that ZWO supplied with the filter wheel, and it has a magnetic tip that does very well at holding onto the screws, keeping the filters safe. Thank you ZWO for this. It's the little things like this that make a product stand out from the competition. Now I don't know if other manufacturers supply a magnetic screwdriver or not with their filter wheels, but I was happy that I didn't have to go track one down for this installation. So you can see that I started installing filters in position 2. Position 1 will be for the luminance filter, which I left out so I would have room to access the screw holes for where the camera mounts to the filter wheel. In position 2, 3, and 4, I'm mounting the red, green, and blue filters. The filter masks that hold the filters in place each take 3 screws, and I made sure to tighten them down evenly, but not too tight. I didn't want to strip out the aluminum carousel or break the little ears off the filter masks. ZWO does provide a few extra filter masks though, just in case. I chose the Antlia filters because I wanted a set of quality 3nm narrowband filters that didn't break the bank. A set of Chroma or Astrodron filters were just out of the budget. Many users are happy with this filter set, and I'll keep you updated if I get any haloing on bright stars when using the O3 filter. Let's take a moment to appreciate Antlia's packaging of the filters. Each filter is in its own acrylic case with magnets to hold the lid on, thick foam padding to keep the filters from moving, and each filter is double sleeved. These cases are very well designed and really complete that premium product feel. However, the verdict is still out. No matter how nice the case is, it really comes down to the quality of the filters themselves. So here's a close-up of how I checked each filter to determine the correct orientation. I'm not sure if the red, green, and blue filters also have this dual coating. However, I did check each filter in this manner. On Antlia's website, they state that with the narrowband filters, one side of the filter will have a sharp, clean reflection, while the other side will have a double reflection or a double image. You can see here on the silver side that it's very easy to see the reflection of the pen is sharp and there's no double reflection. This is the side of the filter that will face the telescope, and when flipping it over to the red side, you can see that there is a double reflection. This is much easier to see in person than it was to try to capture on the video. At the side with the double reflection will face towards the camera. Now once you set up your camera and filter wheel, if you do notice that there are some weird internal reflections, it's easy enough to take the filter out, flip it the other way, and see if those reflections are still in your images. Now it's time to install the remaining narrowband filters and give it another dusting with a bulb duster. Now I've been dusting this off frame to try to minimize the amount of dust that's going to resettle onto the filters. So far, the installation has gone smoothly, but the only problem I've ran into so far is fighting that dust, which seems to be attracted to all the filters. So I've already thought about what target I want to try to capture first with this new camera and filter wheel setup. Let me know in the comments below what you think the first target that I try to capture with this setup will be. So here it is, the new camera. As you know from the title of this video, this is the ASI2600MM. I'm very excited to try this camera out, and this is an upgrade from my ASI1600MC Pro. I'll still be using my old camera from time to time for night imaging, and it is also my primary camera that I use for solar imaging. It'll be a lot easier now to swap back and forth from solar to nighttime imaging, as I can remove all the components all at once and cap them instead of breaking down each setup when switching back and forth. Once the tilt plate was removed from the camera with the included Allen wrench, you can see this is where I started having a little bit of problems. I struggled trying to line up this filter mask that blocks out the other mounting holes on the filter wheel, the camera, and the filter wheel itself. Surprisingly, this was the hardest part of the install for me. But once I got everything lined up and 4 screws in, the camera is now permanently mounted to the filter wheel, and all that's left is to install the luminance filter, put the front cover back on. The luminance filter is the one filter that I could not see any differences at all on either side of the filter. If I do notice any odd reflections with the luminance filter, or any of the filters, I will try flipping them over to see if that helps clear up any of the internal reflections. After giving the filters one last cleaning with the bulb blower, all that is left is to install the front cover, add the adapters, spacers, and get this setup mounted to the telescope. Overall, I'd say installing the filters was much easier than I anticipated, and I cannot wait to start capturing data with this new setup. Now, one thing I did notice before I started the setup was the gap around the motor that is used to spin the carousel. I got a flashlight out and shined over the motor and could see light leaking into the filter wheel. While this does not have a direct path to the camera sensor, I decided to add some electrical tape over this to block out any possible light leaks. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button, and please don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. Until next time, clear skies.